Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the beautiful NASCAR Hall of Fame here in Charlotte, North Carolina. My name is Bassmasters, with the very great privilege to stand next to NASCAR Hall of Fame historian Buzz McKim. And Buzz, you're here to tell us about this very striking 1970 Dodge, Daytona, driven by Bobby Isaacs.
Yeah, that really is a remarkable car. This was Chrysler Corporation's answer to Ford Motor Company's Slope Nose Torinos and Mercury Montegos. And as you can see, it is bizarre. You have the big wing on the back.
Yep.
You've got that long, slopey nose. And then you also have the two vents over the front fenders to equalize the air pressure under the car. So they were amazing. This would be this style of car was the first 200-mile-an-hour car in NASCAR. And Bobby Isaac won the 1970 championship in NASCAR, but not in a wing car. Yeah, they had the wing cars were run on everything 1 mile in length and over. So he did 111 races in 1970, and he accumulated enough points to win the championship. But really, the king of the wing cars was Petty Enterprises. Between Richard Petty and his teammate Pete Hamilton, they won a slew of races. And but this is still a remarkable car. After it got done running in NASCAR in 1970, they took the car out to the Bonneville Salt Flats and set something like 53 world speed records with this car. Yeah.
Today we think of wings and spoilers as giving downforce.
Yep.
Was it trying to get downforce?
Yeah, pretty much. And like Charlie Glotzback said that he drove a car like this, a purple number 99. He said, anytime you can't spin out a car, that's a heck of a car. He said these things were almost impossible to spin out because of that wing. And it was a combination of the whole thing. You know, Chrysler spent a lot of time in the wind tunnels, and they came up with a whale of a deal. But in 1971, NASCAR realized what an incredible advantage these cars were, so they put a lot of restrictions on there. So NASCAR made it to where they didn't say you couldn't run the car.
They just made it so it wasn't beneficial.
Right. Yeah, there was no advantage to it. So a lot of these cars went out to the Midwest, to the USAC stock car circuit, and in the ARCA circuit, and they ran them out there for several years. But you really only had one complete season of these cars in NASCAR. A little bit in late 1969, but mostly 1970.
The name Bobby Isaac, he's a guy that I think a lot of race fans know about, but maybe a lot of race fans don't know just how good this guy really was behind the wheel.
Well, you know, Bobby was no flash, no glitz. He just went to the track, did his job, and came home. Kind of shy, kind of retiring. You know, he wasn't a real kind of a media king. He was a country boy, and he was a tremendous driver. And he let his driving do his speaking for him. In fact, the year before, in 1969, he set the record for the most poles in one season, and that record still holds.
Wow.
So yeah, he was really something, and he was quite a mentor to a lot of today's drivers too. He was just really special, and I'm glad to see him finally getting his due with this car on display here.
One is VIP Nord Teddy Twilla on the side. What's that all about?
Well, Nord Crosskopf was the fellow that owned K&K Insurance Company. They insured race cars, they insured race events, race tracks, and they were based out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Nord was the fellow who actually owned the car, owned the team, and then his wife Teddy, and then their daughter Twyla. And then you see the other names.
So they were VIPs.
They were the VIPs. Yeah, that's where the money came from. And
right.
you see the other names on the back. Harry Hyde, of course, the amazing crew chief. Robert G. He was the guy who built the car. He was the Michelangelo of building race cars. He was really a craftsman. He's also Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s grandfather. And he was the king. And then you have other fellas like Buddy Parrott, who in his own right was a tremendous crew chief and engine builder. And then his sons Todd and Brad are still involved. And then Kenny Trout. Kenny was a fellow who built the car that sat on the first pole at the Brickyard 400.
For Rick Mast.
That's right. Yeah, Ken built that car. And Ken's kind of retired now, living in Tennessee. Harry Lee Hyde, Harry Hyde's son, he's still in the area here. And Ray Fox Jr., son of the great Ray Fox. And he was the engine man on this car. So you had a first-class team, and that's about all you had on the team, just that handful of people. And they were running 50, 55 races back then. And Kenny Trout said, yeah, we'd all just pile into a station wagon, and we'd take off for California, and we were making about $2.50 an hour, but he said we were doing what we wanted, and we were having a good time. So, you know, we didn't notice that we weren't becoming rich.
Well, there you have it, the story of Bobby Isaac's 1970 Dodge Daytona championship-winning race car.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.